Hello? Hello? Is this thing on? Hello? Hello? Are we recording? Is this happening already? Hello? Hey everyone. Welcome to the weirdest episode of Teach Better Today that will exist because Katie Miglin is back in the house. I can't believe it. I don't even know how to handle myself. We have the wackiest episode coming. I cannot wait to put Katie on this spot.
Oh boy.
This should just be an episode that all of you should either just click pass on, just go to the next episode that you subscribe to, shout outs to all those podcasts. Or if you've been in our community a while, you may really enjoy this. We'll see. Hey everyone, welcome to the Teach Better Today morning show where the Teach Better team gets to join you live every single morning, Monday through Friday at 7 a.m. Eastern. Katie Miglin is in the house. Katie, do you know what's even happening right now?
No, I don't. I just stumbled into this stream and you're here. So I think I'm in the right spot. I don't know. I'm wearing green.
You have been gone for 3 months. People won't even remember you.
Hello, everyone. I'm Katie Miglin.
This show has gone downhill for months since you've been gone.
Oh boy.
Yeah, and I just want you to know that I don't think this episode is going to be any better.
Oh, well, here's the thing. We just really need to set the bar low for my return, and then we can only go up from here.
Friends, I promise you, we have done a good job setting the bar low as we continue forward. Katie Miglin is officially off maternity leave. If I literally can't believe it. Did you really have a baby? Because we had a rumor going that it was fake.
I did have a baby. I can actually hear said baby right now crying. So apologize if you can hear her. Yeah, she's here. She's in the flesh.
I'm a little upset that she isn't my guest on the show today.
I thought about it, but I think that maybe is a little too early. I'm thinking 6 months is a good time for her to show up and make an appearance, give her 2 cents about all the things.
Well, she'll be running this team in no time, so I have no concern about that.
That's true. I mean, she has heard all of your voices for a long time.
Yeah. Oh, baby Hazel. Okay, so all joking aside, congrats on the gorgeous, smart, successful, amazing little one that you welcomed. We love Hazel Louise. How is it maybe being back a little?
I mean, it's been, how long have we been on here? For 3 minutes, so it hasn't been very long, but I am actually super excited. I'm excited just to be back around adults, and even if it is in a virtual setting, I'm excited to go back into the schools, work with teachers. It's kind of FOMO-ish when you're detached from it for 3 months. Don't get me wrong, I loved every minute of being home, but it is you guys are my family. So I'm excited to kind of jump back into it. And I'm also kind of terrified and nervous to, see what's been happening. You and Jeff were loose cannons there for a while.
Yeah, for those of you who may not have followed all of Katie Miglin's journey on the Teach Better team, she has had probably, and I say this knowing that everybody has a story similar who's on the team, Katie might have the weirdest evolution that has existed on the Teach Better team. For example, she originally got this job, which was a part-time position, by me standing in the hallway yelling at her because we were working together at a time in a school saying, hey, you like parties. Can you take on this job that I have in the Teach Better team? And she yelled back, sure, why not?
That's pretty accurate. It was hey, we like to do this 12-hour thing. Can you just plan that? That's I think initially what I was asked to do.
Yeah, that was it. We needed somebody whose sole position was organizing 12-hour, because for those of you who obviously know that 12-hour date's officially out. So that's great. And I can actually sneakily announce that the 12-hour live schedule is announced on Monday for those of you who are still with it. If you're waiting for that. So that will literally be an hour by hour schedule. But because it's a 12-hour live event with giveaways and guests galore, we're like,
Yeah.
we need someone to just like organize this for us. And so we brought in you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
And now I do a lot of other things.
yeah, it's developed from there, right? So it moved from there to then you moved into a role where you plan the Teach Better conference,
Yeah.
still like part-time planning the Teach Better conference.
Yeah.
Then you came full-time and you're doing training and planning the conference. And then, friends, here's the genius idea the pregnant lady had. While pregnant, she decides, hey, I'm going to like take over 14 other jobs on the team. And I'm going to get to the perfect spot where I've organized all these roles perfectly. And then I'm going on maternity leave for 3 months.
Accurate. That's pretty accurate. Yeah. That's
So
a good summary.
Jeff was very sad when you left because he was nervous he was going to mess up all the work you had done. And
It's fine. You guys made it to schools. I haven't heard of any complaints. Now I haven't really looked at email, but I think everyone's been to point A, and back. And I think you guys are thriving. You're thriving.
I mean, we'll be very happy to have you back. I think Jeff's been like crying in the corner for about a month. So he needs you.
That is the benefit of us being virtual is nobody had to see him.
Yes, exactly. No, I'm very, 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 very excited you're back. It was way too long. I realized that you are the glue that keeps us together.
Hardly. Well, I'm excited to be back. I'm excited to connect with educators. We've got so much going on our team. I feel like literally the week I left, it was like, hey, all this stuff is going to launch in the next 2 months. And I was like, man, I'm going to miss it. But it's all starting soon. Like,
I mean, literally,
yeah,
I was going to say, literally one of the biggest things that we've worked on over the last 9 months launches tonight. Like,
yes.
Are you so excited?
I feel like we've been talking literally about this date for so long that I was like, oh my gosh, yeah, it is tonight.
Literally tonight. Yeah. So for those of you who maybe weren't as connected to the team in November, we officially announced and then had applications open for this grid method cohort, which it's really a pilot group right now. We just wanted to start with some key players in our community who we could take on a journey and essentially certify them as grid method experts. And this includes lots of stuff. You can go present at conferences on your knowledge and really just like get the support that you need from the team to be an advocate for something that many of you I know already are an advocate for and do so much with, but trying to make it official and give you some perks to all of that. So this was a program that, gosh, I don't know, especially you, but you spearheaded this project probably 9 months before we even opened applications.
Yeah. I mean, we've been talking about it for a long time.
Yeah.
I felt like it was an idea that we had, and then it was like, well, what are we going to, like, how will this look? And then we kind of put it on pause for a little bit, and then we came back to it. So I am just excited that it's actually happening.
And big shout out to everyone who was accepted. It was a very small group, but we're very excited to have all of you for our first meeting tonight. And shout out that all of them were fully supported through scholarship. So this is a completely free certification for them. I'm really excited.
Yes. And I'm excited to see where this takes us because this is the pilot group. Our goal out of this was to learn about the certification process, learn kind of like, what do we want this to look like, get their feedback, improve it, and then open it up again. So
if you're interested, keep your eyes out, friends. It'll be good.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, wait. So that launches tonight, 12-hour live. The date's been released March 2nd, but
so
the schedule gets announced on Monday. I'm like 99.9% positive about that, but nobody knows. So shh. And then, and then the event itself is a month later, which is March 2nd. Yes.
And we have new ambassadors have been brought on since I've been out.
Yeah, new ambassadors, amazing. Yeah, they not only have been selected, but then also like brought in. New mentors were also selected and brought in.
We had New Year's like discounty things. Like, I mean, that was like a huge thing this last month.
We
which
did.
Was awesome.
Yeah, like you've missed all the important things. What's going on with you?
I just sat around and ate bonbons.
I mean, thank God you came to our virtual holiday party for our internal team because that was just such a fun experience.
Shout out to Jeff Gargis, who almost didn't let me go because he said I was still on leave. And I was like, no, I'm going. I'm down for a party. You know me and parties. I don't miss.
I mean, are you going to dress up? It's a virtual event. Do you dress up?
I might. You never know.
Yeah. Anyway, so friends, we have a little activity that we're going to do, and I'm going to explain it to Katie. But before we do, I do want to see anything in the comments. If you have any questions for Katie, we are going to be monitoring those comments, answering those questions. Katie, I have a little activity I would like to do if you're up for it. And it has to do with something I've actually already done with Brad on the Sunday show.
Okay.
I'm going to let you know. It's a little tricky, but I think we can do it. I think we can handle it. I just want you to know that it is not like an easy one. You're gonna have to use your brain a little. So
Okay.
warm that up a little. I don't know. Like Hey everyone, thank you for sticking with us here on the Teach Better Today morning show. My name is Ray Hughart. Katie Miglin is back after 100 months away, and now she is here. We're in our Team Talk section, which many of you know this is a time that we like to give you something to think about as you head into your day. Katie, this will be an interesting one. So I have gathered 40 different statements, and all these statements are statements that teachers believe may be true about their role.
Okay.
Most of them are like common misconceptions, or not feeling valued, not feeling respected. We'll get into them.
Okay.
Here's what we need to do. When I did this with Brad, we actually rated these because we did a list of 40 educational things that you should keep in mind, like what's most important and what's not as important.
Okay.
Obviously, the joke was they all were important, and that's the struggle.
Yep.
And the main takeaway of that activity was that, yes, there's so many things that are important, but you have to find a way to prioritize them. Like not everything can be a 10 out of 10. We have to find ways to identify, I have to put this away for a second because I have to solidify and build a foundation on something more important. And then I hope to go back and pick it up. So for those of you who missed that Sunday episode, I encourage you to go check that out. It actually is on the Teach Better Talk podcast if you're listening there, or if you're watching on YouTube, it's just our Sunday show. It streams Sunday and then restream to YouTube on Monday. So you should have been able to catch that. Just direct message us if you have an issue. Katie, what I want to do is have us be really, really good, positive, solution-seeking people. I'm going to have you choose numbers 1 through 40. And we're just going to talk about that. If this is your feeling, what's a step you can take today to be a part of fixing that feeling, right? Stepping in the right direction. Not all of us can fix the things in our lives, but we can be part of a solution to maybe change that inner feeling. So are you ready to maybe try this out?
I'm so excited. This is such a fun one.
I thought you'd be good with this. It kind of has like a teachers deserve it vibe where it's like, teachers deserve respect, but then like here are strategies to go get it. That's kind of what I'm aiming for.
I love it. Let's do it.
So you need to pick a number 1 through 40.
8.
Ooh, good. Starting out with 8. Here we go. These are misconceptions that teachers may or may not feel. Professional development opportunities Professional development opportunities that align with personal goals are not always available. So the statement again, that a teacher someone could feel that their professional development opportunities that they're being offered are not aligned to their personal goals.
Okay, I feel like I'm like speed dating these answers. I don't know why I feel like I have to say them fast, but I would say my like initial thought is there's always room for growth, even if it isn't necessarily like a direct goal. So even if it's not like, this is a specific thing I'm working on. Okay, so you sit through the PD, you might actually gain something from it that you weren't expecting.
Ooh, I like that perspective. I was going to go a completely different way, but I like that. To summarize, what you're saying is, hey, any professional development is something that you can take something away from. So even if it's not what you were hoping to learn, try and be a learner anyway, right?
Right, because we aren't none of us are perfect. Well, I mean, you
You
are.
are. You are, but it's fine.
But I mean, you're like, there's always room for something, even something super small that when you sit in those PDs and you're like, oh, wait, I could fix that. So I say, just go in with an open mind. You never know what you're going to get out of it.
Even if it's just listening to a speaker, even if you don't agree with what they're talking about,
Yeah.
take away something of like how they present or how they instruct or like a tech tool they use, right? Like there's got to be
Mhm.
something, some
Exactly.
hook
Exactly.
activity. Okay, good. I was thinking the other way of if the professional opportunities that your district or school are providing you are not helping you, then get out of your bubble to go find other PD. Like obviously
Oh
you're
yeah.
listening here to the Teach Better community.
Mhm.
Like let us know, maybe we can get it for you, kind of like reaching out of the bubble you might be living in and finding your own ways to learn could be a good step.
And I think it's a valuable conversation to still have with your administrator during an evaluation. I mean, that's what evaluations are, right? You bring up goals. So when you're talking, that's a perfect opportunity to say, here are some things I'm working towards. Is there professional development coming that will help? If not, where, do I have availability to go to a conference, to go seek something else out? Like kind of have that open dialogue too, so that your administrator knows that that's something you're working towards.
Yeah, I like that feedback because we're always asking for that. Like on the
Yeah.
team, like what are you looking for? Who can we bring on, whether it be this show or some other
Yep.
support provided by the team to get you that? So yeah, I think that providing feedback to see if you can be a part of adjusting what's being offered to you is a really good plan. Cool, pick
Yep.
another number.
14.
14. The emotional toll of balancing work and personal life is sometimes overlooked. This one's funny. Who has not felt this way? Okay, I like that it says sometimes overlooked because I just want to know, like, raise of hands, is there any teacher listening, any educator at all, who feels like their emotional toll of balancing work and personal life has just never been overlooked?
I know when you said that, I was like, I think this is like many days for many educators.
Yes, for many years. Yes.
Right. And it's okay, there's a thousand reasons why it's a personal job. We feel loyal to our students and the job. That's like that is a whole can of worms we could get into. We're not going to.
Sure.
But the reality is what's a solution you can do so that you don't feel that way? I mean, that's like what's the whole point of this game? And I would say you have to find time to prioritize it over your job so that you feel that's a balance.
That's so hard. That's
It is
so,
so hard.
it's so
It is
hard.
so hard. I actually literally just the other day was talking to an administrator who said she's like struggling with that. She was like, I want to work out. I don't have the time. I want to, like be able to put my kids to bed, but I just sit and think about my to-do list. Like all of those are real feelings. So then pick something small. And I felt like I was doing this kind of the last like couple years, especially after like all that time home with COVID. The last couple years I was in the classroom, I was like, I really liked that I prioritized my family these last few years. What can I take away that is manageable where I also don't feel like I'm letting my job down? Because that was always a balance for me.
Yeah.
And so there was little things like, okay, I want to work out, but I want to spend time with my family. Let's go on a family walk twice a week, or I'm not going to start my to-do list until the kids are in bed. And whatever I can get done in 1 hour is all I'm giving myself. Like any of those little tiny boundaries you can set, even if you go the next day and you're like, I still have a to-do list. Guess what? That to-do list is going to be there whether or not you set the boundaries. So try to set little tiny things so that you feel like, okay, I'm making a step in the right direction.
Yeah, I like that your focus is what we can do to set our own boundaries. Because when I'm reading this, when you say that your work life balance is overlooked, I took it as overlooked by others.
Mm,
And my answer is you can't let other people dictate what your values are.
exactly.
And like, I like that yours, like, yeah, so if this is a value, how can we move it? This is an evolution like process. Like, no one
Mhm.
ever has this perfected.
No.
I feel like we're constantly kind of in this ebb and flow of finding that right balance, but really,
And
really
everyone's balance looks different. And I think that sometimes is hard for educators to acknowledge. And I know I struggled for so many years where I never acknowledged like my plate looks different than someone else's plate. And so I would say, well, I just spent 4 hours working on this big interdisciplinary activity that that all of our students were going to use. And you went to your kid's soccer game and went out to dinner last night. Like, don't, and I would get so mad. And I'm like, who am I mad at? I'm mad at myself because I didn't do the right balance. So it's like, you have to acknowledge, like, some people's plates are different sizes, and that's fine. All you can control is what you do and the choices you make.
So good. Let's do at least one more. Give me another number.
You said 1 through 40. Let's do like 29.
29. The importance of teacher collaboration in addressing systemic issues can be undervalued.
Okay. I was getting ready to go, I agree, but I realized that wasn't the point.
No. Yes. We probably agree with a lot of these. It's a list of 40 things the most common educators feel. Here's what I like about this one. The opportunity for educators to collaborate, in my opinion, will never hit enough. Like, there has never been a time where I've been in a room with mentors and colleagues I really value, and like, we have enough time to collaborate. Like, still. And even if they're educators that you butt heads with, collaborating is even more so. You need that collaboration.
Yes,
so
100%.
When you look at the importance of teacher collaboration in addressing issues not being undervalued or being undervalued, I think this comes down to almost emphasizing the value you each can bring in those circumstances and making
like
sure that
in those moments.
Yeah. Add to that. Tell me about that.
Well, I think too, like, when we think undervalued, is it that it's actually undervalued, or that it's not prioritized as high as we want it to be? Because I don't think if you went to any person who, oversees those moments of collaboration, would say that it's not needed. It's, there's never, that's not a thing. It's just, when you look at the list of things that need to be covered in those hour collaborative spaces, it's like, where's the priority at? That's it.
And there are half an hour circumstances where you're in between two classes, you're emotionally exhausted, you also haven't eaten lunch, and you have 12 other things that need to happen before the 45 mark. Like that, I think you're so right that maybe I'm disagreeing with the statement a little bit, but to your point, it's not about undervaluing them. It's about really trying to be as successful in them as possible, but there's so many distractions.
Because if you think you've got, even on a good day, let's say you have an institute day and they give you free reign, you've got 3 hours to collaborate. Okay, well, what are things that are going to happen tomorrow or that week or, this month that all have to be done ahead of time? When you're looking at a systematic change, that's big. That's a big discussion that in your moment, you might be thinking, I've got to cover all these things that are happening sooner, and I can't necessarily get to that. So I think it's just, we have to understand that we have to build the time in ourselves to say, what are some little ways that we can keep addressing that bigger issue with the time we have?
Yeah, almost like setting clear expectations and making it an intentional use of time. Because sometimes sometimes a 45-minute meeting, the issue is the timing. If you had 10 minutes, you would have made a better decision.
Right. Or thinking, what are the things that we are discussing that actually address those bigger issues? Like, is there something we're addressing that's in the here and now that are eventually like laying foundation for bigger issue, the bigger picture?
Yeah. It would be interesting. I'm going to share this list of 40 friends. If you're interested, you can take these and have these kind of conversations with your colleagues. We've noted this might be valuable in your leadership teams. So I'll definitely share these out. But Kate, do you want to choose one more number, 1 through 40?
Let's do 22.
22. Teachers may feel undervalued when their efforts to build positive relationships with parents go unnoticed. I couldn't even read it with a straight face. I couldn't literally, hold on, one more time. I'm going to do it really serious.
Let's do it.
I can't.
Okay, that was great.
Teachers may feel undervalued when their efforts to build a positive relationship with parents go unnoticed.
Why are you taking the time to build the relationships? That's what you have to go back to the root. Are you doing it so that you can get acknowledgement, so that you can look like a good educator? Or are you building a relationship so that you can have the strong relationship with your families, thus impacting your students' education better. So I feel like, yeah, we all want the gold star. We all want the acknowledgement. Like that feels good, right? That feels good in all things. But what was the purpose and what was your real motive behind doing the things to reach out to your parents? Because if your motive is only to get acknowledged, then I feel like you've got to reevaluate your motives with it.
Well, because you're putting somebody else's opinion as the way that you're going to get confirmation you did a good job, right?
Right.
Like,
You're valuing their opinion more than you're valuing the actual thing you're doing, their relationship building.
I also think this could be an opportunity, depending on the parent, to communicate what you have tried and that you're disappointed it hasn't built the foundation you hope it would, and ask how to do it better. I think that that's not appropriate for all parents, depending on the topic. They may not be as open-minded, but the reality is like, I think teachers forget parents are human. And I know and have seen parents forget that teachers are human. And so there's an element here of like
there's got to be more of a collaboration, not necessarily like I'm doing something so we have a strong relationship. It's I'm just trying to help, and I'm trying to, we're trying to get on the same page. And so kind of going back to that, I think is a good idea. And also asking, like, what do they want? Like, what are they looking for? Because maybe they came in with different expectations than you. And that's why it hasn't like totally worked yet.
It's so interesting. Katie knows this, but parents in my mind are like, I like literally have a feeling deep in my stomach, even discussing like parents, because that's where my nerves come from with my, like, I feel like I got better over the years, but parents, anything with parents would be my key stressor for being an educator, and always wanting them to give me the affirmation that I was doing a good job for their child, and the stress that brings when that's not received. So if any of you want to, gripe about some of the stressors that you have, feel free to reach out to us. We'd be good advocates.
But also I think reminding ourselves, sometimes we have to like look, and I feel like I struggle with this, but sometimes I'm like, I want the affirmation. I want them to acknowledge it. But how often do I go to my child's teachers and say, you're doing a good job? That's not often what the first thing that comes out in an email or a phone call. So being mindful, like if we're not doing it to others, there's a good chance it's not ill, like it's not for a negative thing. It's just it's not something they thought about.
Well, and vice versa. How many times are we on a parent call calling a parent being like, you must be doing a really great job at home. I so appreciate the support. Right? Like, how can we kind of universally be a part of the solution by doing it 3 times more than maybe we feel like we need to?
Exactly. Right. Because oftentimes it's not for a negative. It's just they didn't think about it. Like they just, it's assumed, some of those sentences are just assumed, when in reality, it's sometimes nice to hear. So
good stuff. Well, we'll share out the list of 40. Again, anytime we do this on the show, and I know we've I think we're trying to do it a little bit more often to give us some food for thought, but these are fun lists to be able to build activities off of, to build stronger relationships with your colleagues and your leadership team. So let us know if we can do anything to help all of you. Katie, thanks for coming back on the show. We miss you.
Yeah, thank you so much, guys. Have a good day.
Have you back. We'll be good. All right, friends, if you need anything, please let us know. Happy February 1st. Katie Miglin is back. Therefore, I will not be working for the rest of the day. We'll see you guys later. Hey, Teach Better community. Thank you so much for joining the Teach Better Today morning show every single weekday at 7 a.m. Eastern. We have so many resources for you outside of this live stream at teachbetter.com, including blogs, podcasts, and professional development that will bring our team to your school. Wherever you are listening from this morning, please make sure you are sharing and celebrating the incredible educators in this world. And hey, if you are listening over on a podcast to Teach Better Talk, we would love a 5-star review. The comments are always so entertaining. We'll see you tomorrow.